Welcome to the Sunday, September 14th, 2025 Massachusetts Pirate Party member meeting. My name is James O'Keefe. I'm chair of the party and a resident of Somerville. I'm joined today by Eli, Joe, and Steve. How are the three of you?
Doing well.
I can't complain. I mean, I could, but no one wants to hear that noise.
All right.
Great. So are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yeah, I just have a little bit of news on the national level.
Okay. Well, do you want to do that as part of reports then?
Sure. So last week, Eli they had me come, and so I ended up being the voting member for Massachusetts, and the question proposed nationally was to transition to video meetings for the most part, and they wanted to keep the IRC active, but kind of like in the background. And so I think that the IRC is going to be like a secondary constant from what I understood, but I'm not 100% on that. But one of the things I did get set up was today I was getting the captain, Jolly Mitch, getting him set up with the video recording and the YouTube channel and all that, and showing him the analytics. And he proposed an idea to me tonight about we're coming up next year on the 20th anniversary of the pirates being founded in the US. And so he's starting to look to the future. And so I put a bug in his ear about possibly having the conference done here in Massachusetts, and as part of a 2-day event, whereas the first day we could maybe get set up at like the Armory or something like that, where we have our technical conference indoors like we do in the Massachusetts meetings, and then perhaps move the second day into going and seeing some of the historic sites, such as going on to the USS Constitution, which is completely free, and then either doing like a duck boat tours, or maybe really ending the whole pirate thing with doing a mapping tour going down the Freedom Trail and seeing how many cameras are actually watching us going down the Freedom Trail. So, a couple things to think about and see if we couldn't host the National Conference here in Massachusetts next year. So, I know that'd put a little bit more work for us, but,
And out of curiosity, how did the vote on the video stuff go?
It was pretty much unanimous, because it's, in a lot of ways, the recording the IRC is good with just copy paste, but it doesn't invite as much discourse or dialogue. It seems like the dialogue gets really ramped up when we can see each other and talk to each other the way we are now.
So you voted in favor of the video conferencing?
I did, mainly because it's just a trial period to see how it goes. And two, so it's not set in stone. They're only till November 9th. They're going to do it, and see how it goes from there. The problem with it is they're not as sure. They've been very guarded about giving out the Jitsi link. So whereas anyone could just sign into the IRC and we could always just kick them out and ban them by the IP address, so it's easier to control the trolls that way, whereas Jitsi is not as favorable for that. We may end up having to switch to like a Zoom or something if we wanted to go with doing video conferencing more long term.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted that for the notes.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Steve. So that would be July of 2026?
Yeah, 6/26, I
Okay,
believe.
so that's basically, we would need, should we do it, or whomever is going to do it would have potentially 9 months to plan it,
Well, the
starting
other
October.
option, yeah, the other option was down in it was down in Mississippi,
Okay.
and that was Vicksburg, Mississippi. There is
Did you drop, Joe?
I think Joe did drop, yes.
sorry,
That's okay.
no, I was on a different screen. So there
Oh,
was a
okay.
Civil War ship that got turned into a casino, and that was the other option. It was in like Vicksburg or somewhere down Mississippi, and they have a really cheap conference room for like $100 a day. So
Oh,
that was
okay.
another option. But a chance to have all the pirates kind of gather up in Boston and be able to go down the Freedom Trail, go see the U.S. Constitution, and see maybe the Cass and Young, which is also free to get on,
Mm-hmm.
and just having. Um, I know the Armory is not as cost prohibitive. It's a question of whether or not we could get into the Armory on the day. You know,
Yeah, I mean, if we
so
wanted to do that, we'd probably, knowing now, we could contact them and try and book it. They can get pretty booked um, in advance. So if that's something we want to do, then um, by all means, we should probably start planning soon. Um, so
yeah.
uh,
Well, that's
so
why I,
yeah,
I just proposed it tonight, and so during tonight's meeting, I think we'll be discussing that, the
okay,
different options, see what direction we want to go.
okay. Other reports, Steve and I met with a group in Cambridge about working together on surveillance issues. Um, they have a conference coming up, which is in the decisions and endorsements. They look like a really great group of folks, and they're really dedicated on surveillance issues and you know, pushing back the prison state and all that. So the housing issues and great stuff like that. So trying to think of so in Cambridge this Thursday there's an effort. Well, basically the Cambridge City Council approved the Cambridge Police Department rolling out flock ALPR automatic license plate cameras throughout Cambridge. We thought it had originally been just Central Square as a pilot project, but it looks like um, there's a meeting of the Poles and Conduits Committee, which would decide whether to approve all or some of the individual cameras on individual city poles. And so that's Thursday at 9 a.m. So we emailed um, folks in Cambridge, Pirates in Cambridge, asking them to show up at the meeting, most especially if they're in a butter, since those are folks who are have higher weight, shall we say. And so there's an event and post will go out tomorrow with that. Any other reports? All right, so for decisions and endorsements, as I mentioned, we had this conversation um, with the Black Response, which is a community group in Cambridge and Somerville. And so they're having an abolition and alternatives conference October 3rd through the 5th. It's free in-person event that will bring together community members, organizers, advocates for, as I said, a weekend of in-depth learning and discussion focused on alternative public safety and community care public housing and the impacts of surveillance technologies like ShotSpotter. So it'll be at their offices. And so I wanted to throw out whether we wanted to sponsor it. There's no cost involved, but that may be something that uh, we they open discussions with us because we got the article in the Cambridge Day about us, and so it just becomes obviously it's if we sponsor it, then we would encourage our members to attend and participate productively, and so just wanted to throw that out as something that do we want to do that?
I mean,
Question?
this is Steve. I was struck by, well, I shouldn't say struck. These folks know what they're talking about, and they've really done a lot of homework on ShotSpotter deployments and how they're used and how much of this is like sort of out of reach of public records. I'm looking forward to working with them in some capacity, and I would personally be in favor of being a sponsor of their conference.
Would there be an opportunity for us to not only sponsor the conference, but also bring up our camera mapping software and bring it to their attention for helping them?
Yeah, I mean, we're in discussions with them about how we can work together about that. That we'll see where that goes. I'm sure it will be fruitful. But we're just understanding one another better. There will be a table at which the different groups who are participating can put out their flyers and stuff, and so that would be having our 2-page flyer with we're doing surveillance and our surveillance mapping efforts with how to protect your privacy online. Um, you know, would be something that we could, as a sponsor, put out for people to take home.
That would be really, really good. I think that us getting a table there would again
Well, no, it's a
continue to.
shared table. We wouldn't be getting a table. I'm not sure they have enough space for each group, each sponsor to have a table.
Yeah, is the
No,
way they put it is no one will be sitting at the table, but you're welcome to leave literature.
but I mean, still, even having a space in order for people to get to know us better, I think that's a good cross marketing opportunity, as they say in business school. And I think just again learning about the different programs. I mean, that's Swarm Care at its heart. So I think this is a great opportunity.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
If I could
Okay,
just
then.
ask what
Yeah, go
Eli
for it.
thinks of this.
I zoned out for a second. I heard the name. What was I supposed to do? I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, if you don't have any comment, it's fine. You don't have to. We don't want to put you on the spot. But we're considering whether to sponsor the Abolition and Alternatives Conference 2025 in Cambridge.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Just to be clear, any objections?
No objections.
No.
All right. All right. Hearing none, I will notify them that we are willing to sponsor it, and in the next email update, I'll include information for how and also in the activist lists and other channels how people can sign up should they want to. It is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, starting Friday evening. I don't know the full. They haven't listed the full schedule. I know, unfortunately, I always have far too many demands on my time. So I wanted to focus specifically and make sure I'm there for the ShotSpotter. But man, housing justice and public safety, there's just so much goodness in this. It'd be great. So, all right
Quick
then.
question.
And yeah, go on.
Do they have a website up that we could share with the PNC?
Yeah, they do. It's linked to in the meeting notes where the conference is, and that's the conference page is on their website. So
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. So we discussed U.S. Pirate Party issues. Are there any others? Okay, hearing none. So for projects and events, I apologize. I haven't. I know Alec is focusing on school at the moment. We'll get together and figure out where he is with different things. I'm still updating the campaign plan. Um, and so, once we have all of the voters together, we can do a mailing, and there'll be another request to vote on apportioning that money, and then the draft campaign plan as well. I'm going to get the final version done this week, and then hopefully that'll then be a week for people to look at it and comment on it, and then from there we can approve it at the next meeting. So for pirate news, we had one last week. That's up. And so my suggestion would be to aim for one next weekend. Does that seem reasonable next Sunday?
Yes. And Jamie, are you able to log into the Pirate News on your phone?
I'm able to log into it on my phone. Yeah. I don't think I can. I
Are you
don't
log?
think I can live stream, but I think I can. I can certainly upload a recording.
So on your phone, I know we were discussing. I was hoping to carve out some time that maybe you can call me during the week, hopefully in the
Sure.
next 2 days, and we can figure out a way because you really are the most calming voice in terms of doing the news, and I think I've gotten the best feedback about when you're doing news. And so I really just want to put into your hands as the captain the ability to, when a news article pops up, your ability to just quickly record it. And just do like 5-10 second blasts like, hey, this happened, this is good idea, bad idea, just allowing you to like get those quick little blurbs in, if that's possible.
Sure. Why don't I reach out to you via usual communication tools, and let's set up a time in the next 2 days. Does
Okay.
that work?
Yeah, because I would just like you to have that access to be able to do it.
Okay.
Just as these news events, and because there's just been so much,
Oh
the
yeah.
ability to do those short little blasts real quick,
Mhm.
much easier for people to consume, and you'd be able to make your voice known.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Trump's secret police, as I call it, is in Massachusetts. So woohoo for for negative values of woohoo. Anyways.
Oh,
Uh,
I completely forgot a report.
oh yeah, go for it.
So I was in contact with Norm, one of our really good supporters, who does a lot of good work as far as donating. He's been donating a lot of computers for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and he had another donation. They had reached out to me, and so I was going to direct it to a school with his donation.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe he transitioned, and he wanted to continue down the path of giving it to those in transition.
Mm-hmm.
Those who were having a tough time at the transition center down in downtown Lowell.
Okay.
And I think that's where the donation went. So, if there's ever computers that people can't use or stuff like that, I know that the transition center is always in need of stuff like that. and that gives internet to people who absolutely don't have it. So
And the transition center, do you know, I assume it's something like the transitioncenter.org or something. I can put it
so
in the notes.
yeah, I'll pull it up right now and put it in the chat for you so that people
Oh,
can
thank
have a
you.
link to it. But
Great.
it's so the way Lowell works as far as the transition center goes is that all the surrounding towns, when somebody's homeless in like Borica, Chelmsford, any of the surrounding towns, they all bring them to Lowell. So Lowell has the facilities that are set up. Now there are very strict rules to be in the transition program, because they have to at least meet the program halfway.
Mhm.
They have curfew, stuff like that. They can't just be out all night and then come in. But
Mhm.
um, if people are looking to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, the city of Lowell definitely meets you halfway. So it is a really, really good program. A lot of really good salt of the earth people that run it. And, any assistance, any donations are always appreciated. So,
Great. Thanks, Joe. All right. So in our continuing effort to review Commonwealth bills, one of the things that was on our list was an act relative to unmanned aerial systems, although let me see what the status of that is. Ugh, okay, well, that's very funny. All right, I guess the MA legislature website is in service.
It
Maintenance.
was it's been down all day.
Whoop. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll skip that since we can't exactly look at the bills. Um, and then in terms of federal bills, um, the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, is, I believe, still out there. There's the Pro Codes Act. Um, and then there's the Foreign Anti-Digital Piracy Act, the American Copyright Act, which last I looked hadn't been posted, and the American Music Fairness Act, which probably isn't fair. So are there any of these bills folks wanted to look at? COSA in the past, I think we've opposed, so maybe I should just pull that out, and I'm not even sure where that is, but man. Okay, it hasn't even passed the
It,
Senate or the House or anything, so.
it's proposed by Marsha Blackburn. You know it's fucking bad. It's ass.
Yeah, I mean, this will definitely be used against, you know, uh, trans LGBTQ information and stuff like that. Be like, oh no, you're gonna harm the children. They shouldn't know about this. Like, have you heard of the thing called the First Amendment? But are any of these bills folks want to look at? Here's what the Anti-American Copyright Protection Act. If that's no. Wait, what?
did it go poof?
I don't know. I mean, supposedly it was gonna get suggested, but right, all sources. Man, it would be bad if it got rolled into HR1.
And it looks like it did. They might be trying to
I mean,
sneak it through.
potentially. I mean, it's searched on Act, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The Music Modernization Act extended copyright protection to what? Okay. When was this? Oh, 2018. All right. Fine. That would have been really bad. All right. Well, it doesn't seem to be there, so maybe bullet dodged. Too soon. Okay. So, sorry, that's a little snarky. I shouldn't be so snarky. I apologize. So any of these particular bills folks want to look at? If I recall correctly, the Pro Codes Act has to do with um, when there's things like building codes, those are sometimes done by professional organizations, and they claim copyright on it, but you can't copyright the law. So even though states try to do that. And so, it's I'm not sure if that's an attempt to say I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad bill in terms of those particular issues. So anyways, does any of these jump out?
Yeah, I'm skimming through the Pro Codes one now.
Oh, it's ISA. Man, probably not. I don't know. Do you want me to read this off? Doesn't look too long. So like B, standard incorporated by reference into law or regulation, a standard in which copyright protection subsists under section 102A at the time of its fixation shall retain such protection, boo, notwithstanding that the standard is incorporated by reference if the applicable standards development organization within a reasonable period of time after obtaining actual or constructive notice that the standard has been incorporated by reference makes all portions of the standard so incorporated publicly accessible online at no monetary cost and in a format that includes a searchable table of contents and index or the equivalent aids to facilitate the location of specific content. I mean, if they make it accessible online at no monetary cost, then why can't someone copy it and also make it accessible publicly?
Yeah, I mean, one place where this comes up is building codes because like in Massachusetts, we basically incorporate the International Code Council's codes. But as far as I'm aware of, the only way you could get those is by purchasing them. So if I read this right, I mean, in Massachusetts, there are state amendments to them, and you could read the amendments, but you can't read the actual code itself without buying a copy. Now, so what is so publicly accessible online? This does not seem bad.
I mean, it's good that it makes it publicly available, although it leaves to the standards body what they define as publicly accessible.
Well, so the section 5, there's a let's see if you well, actually, I take that back. If you go all the way back to down to the bottom, it's under so scroll up a little bit, above section 4. You'll see an item numbered 5, called publicly accessible online. Yep, there you go. Displayed for review in a readily accessible manner on a public website that conforms with Section 508 accessibility guidelines. Rules of construction. If the user is required to create an account or agree to terms of service in order to access material online, that requirement shall not be construed to render the material not publicly accessible for the purpose of subparagraph A if there is no monetary cost to the user to access that material and no personally identifiable information collected pursuant to such a requirement is used without the affirmative and express consent of the user.
So they can ask for personally identifiable information, but they just have to get permission.
Yes. Of course, it does. This would allow a standards body to, sort of, by the way I read this, the standards body could require that personally identifying information and the ability and permission to use it as a prerequisite for accessing the standard. So that's kind of like the way the Washington Post lets you read gift articles. You have to cough up something in order to do it.
What do they expect? 12-year-olds to read these things?
Cookies are a thing.
Sorry, say that again, Joe?
Cookies are a thing. You want your cookies.
Yep.
I'm really undecided on it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like CFAA is going, like, if someone goes and all they have to do is put a big disclaimer that says, you cannot copy this information, or, copying this information invalidates our terms and conditions, or is not valid as part of our terms and conditions. And then suddenly you get a CFAA. If you go and you put it online, you get a CFAA suit. I mean, criminal case against you. And I don't feel like it solves that problem. I mean, it makes it accessible. That's good. But
almost feels like it's like the government trying to, well, you have to sign this non-compete clause. I do see what you're saying, though, Steve, about it seeming like a fairly good thing. It's just the way it's worded is almost like word salad in a way that makes it It's almost like corporate speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's legalese.
A little heavy on the legalese, though. So much so that they could easily bend it or like put things in there. It's a bit ambiguous.
Where is it in the process? It hasn't even gone anywhere. So it's referred to the House Committee on the Judiciary.
So it's still the start of a document. It's not even, they're not even done hammering it out.
Right.
I say we wait on deciding on how we're going to stand on it.
I'm completely comfortable with that. I think I personally want to do more research on that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it seems one step forward, but at the same time, it doesn't. We're pirates, darn it, and information should be available. If you could be sued on it, you should be able to read it, and have it available, and stuff like that without having to, copying is not theft and all.
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges or one of the realities here, at least that as I'm aware of it, developing these technical standards like a building code. Um, there's a lot of effort that goes into it. It's time intensive. It's expensive, and I understand that the standards organizations rely on selling access to partially or fully cover the cost of doing that work. I sort of wonder if there should be a model or could be a model where a state that a government agency or level of a government body that incorporates a technical standard by reference should license it, and that way the everyone gets to look at it, and the standards organizations have a source of funding. I think that would be a more sustainable kind of thing, personally.
That's actually not a bad idea, incorporating like a schooling where they can make sure that contractors are up to snuff and up to standards.
Mm-hmm.
But also licensing, in essence, licensing it to the government, and then the government can make it accessible to everyone. Are you suggesting that?
Or ensuring that people are up to code, know the code, and are able to follow it.
No, but I mean, what is the term? What are we licensing? Are we licensing the people who use it, or are we licensing who can distribute the standards?
No, well, I'm
I
saying,
think
like, in the case of Massachusetts, say, and using the building code as an example, the legislature, incorporates it by reference. So the state government would would just license it on those terms.
Yeah, typically in construction, how the coding works is they make their money by having the local government. Like, so, if, for example, in Lowell, the inspectors you pay for a slot of time, and the inspectors come out. Whereas if we were to shift the coding so that that money was at the contractor getting, in order to get their license for that particular business, they had to be fully up to date on the codes. Instead of just being like, hey, check out this, and making them like bounce back and forth and working it. I think that's really where saying we have a more robust training to make sure that houses are built to code, because we made sure that we invested in the contractors who are building those houses.
I guess the
Is
thing that
that
I'm
where
yeah, sorry, go, Joe.
I was saying, I think that was your point, Steve, but I could be taking your point wrong.
Well, I mean, I think it's beneficial for, it's certainly beneficial to contractors, but even people on, say, planning and zoning boards, building commissions, that sort of thing. Um, it's worthwhile to them. And, from the state perspective, the alternative to, you know, um, to licensing something, say, from the International Code Council is having to write it yourself. And I'm sure the licensing agreement would be, um, a more prudent expense, or a more reasonable outlay of money. It'd be cheaper.
So I think I understand when you say licensing, the government would be licensing the document. Yeah. I mean, I guess for this kind of brings up a broader question of these standards bodies. How does one become a decision maker on them? We think of them as, I guess, technocratic. They're going to look at the building standards and they're going to look at it from an engineering standpoint or whatever. But we as voters, as citizens, as residents, have no influence over the standards they put in. If they choose to put in standards that are, be as energy inefficient as you want, and we say, and then the government says we're going to adopt these standards.
I'm
Right.
pretty sure that goes town by town.
Well, in terms of building codes, there are at least three different sets of codes in Massachusetts, and each municipality can opt in. So there's the regular code, there's the stretch code, and then there is the enhanced stretch code. All of which happen to be, really focused on energy efficiency. But in terms, I do take Jamie's point in the sense that these are often industry groups. So yeah, it would be, in a sense, it is a way where industry groups do write laws. For example, some of the fire codes which later grew into building codes that were adopted were largely, the folks bottom lining that there were two main groups that my understanding, two main groups. One was the insurance companies who were getting tired of having to pay out fire insurance claims, and the other ones were the companies that manufactured sprinkler systems, because that's what the codes would require in certain buildings. And there are, weird quirks in it, like if you're building a one or two family house, it's a whole different set of regulations than if you're building three or more. And one of the reasons this was done, 100 years ago with anti-tenement laws was immigrants live in three plus unit buildings and we don't like immigrants. So yeah, there's a lot of baggage that comes with this stuff.
All right, are we fine tabling this then?
Yeah, we can table it.
Second.
I don't have a great answer.
Yeah. Okay. We're almost at time. The only other update that I had is I'm still waiting to hear from the Boston Anarchist Book Fair if we have a table or not, likely with Digital Fourth. So hopefully they'll get back to me on our request. So
Do you mind if we skip the articles of agreement this week and work on it?
That hasn't been updated. That's another thing that's unfortunately on my plate that I need to get done. So So I guess a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thanks to the four of you. It's good to talk with you all. And for those who have come to this fine point at the end of our meeting, thank you for listening in. You too can join our meetings every 2 weeks generally. It's posted at masspirates.org. We're posting all of our events now at the blog, and including some upcoming organizer trainings and check-ins and stuff like that later in the month. So if you want to participate, by all means, there's information on the side of how you can do that or in these events. And next week we'll put out another pirate news with whatever injustice is going on. Yeah, man, South Koreans. Ugh.
I
The
can't
news of
blame
how they
them.
treated them is just horrid from Georgia. Sorry, I just diverted.
Oh yeah, there's random stuff you read on social media, and who knows, you saw it on the internet, so there's only a 50% chance it could be true, but apparently, they view the MAGA movement as, well, their media, their newspapers are being a lot more honest about this than I think the major media in the United States is. So I think I understand that, or it sounds like they're really having second thoughts about investments in the United States, but we'll see.
Joy. And so if you'd like this, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in a week at the next Pirate News. And you can always find us at masspirates.org or email us at info@masspirates.org. Take care, folks. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Steve. Have a wonderful weekend, whatever there is left of it. Bye.
Thank you.